I'd always considered myself straight. My life, my friends, my family, and my future were all built around that one assumption. I had relationships with women, planned my life around the idea of meeting the one, and never really questioned it. But when I met Aaron, all that certainty shattered. We met on a late summer night at a party in a small, hidden bar that my friend Alex had dragged me to. I'd almost turned down the invitation, thinking about an early start the next morning, but Alex was persuasive, and I caved. As I stood there with my drink, laughing along to Alex's wild stories, a man across the room caught my eye. He was tall with dark hair, sharp features, and a presence that was impossible to ignore. His eyes, focused and intense, somehow found mine through the crowd. For a moment I felt the strange urge to look away, but instead I held his gaze, and he held mine. I couldn't explain it, but something tugged at me, something I hadn't felt before. Alex must have noticed. "Oh, that's Aaron," he said, following my gaze. "He's a friend of mine. Want to meet him?" I laughed it off, feeling a little ridiculous. But, before I knew it, Alex had waved Aaron over, and within minutes, we were shaking hands. There was an energy between us that I'd never felt with anyone before. His voice was calm and deep, and he spoke with a quiet confidence that pulled me in. We talked about everything: work, travel, books, and somehow even the abstract: dreams, regrets, fears, and ambitions. The night blurred around us. I'd forgotten I was holding a drink. I'd forgotten we were in a crowded room. I'd even forgotten that Alex was standing nearby. All I could think about was how his words made me feel like I'd been asleep my entire life, only now waking up. Hours passed, but I didn't want to leave. When it was time, he offered to walk me back. It was a cool night, and we walked slowly, as if neither of us wanted the conversation to end. We stopped outside my building, the street lamp casting a warm glow around us. "Do you want to come up?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Aaron smiled, a knowing look in his eyes. There was an undeniable pull, something I couldn't explain but couldn't deny. I'd been with women before, but this was different, intense, electric, and impossible to ignore. When he kissed me, the world seemed to slip away. I didn't know what it meant. I only knew that in that moment, I felt more like myself than I ever had. There was no hesitation, no doubt, just a feeling of rightness. And in that kiss, I understood that maybe life was more complex, more beautiful, and maybe even more honest than I'd ever thought. Over the next few months, Aaron and I grew close. I didn't know how to explain it to my friends or family, didn't even know how to explain it to myself. But being with him felt like coming home, a sense of belonging that I'd never felt before. He made me laugh, challenged me, and showed me parts of myself I hadn't known existed. We explored the city together, spent quiet Sundays cooking or reading, had long conversations about life. Sometimes there was a momentary fear. What did this mean? What did this say about who I was, about who I thought I'd always been? But Aaron had a way of quieting those fears. He'd smile, brush his fingers against mine, and everything felt so simple, so natural. One rainy night, curled up in his apartment, he turned to me and said, "Do you ever regret this? Us?" I looked at him, surprised, and realized how terrified I'd been to lose what we had. "No," I said, my voice steady. "Not for a second. Meeting you changed me, Aaron. I didn't even know this part of me existed, but now that it does, I wouldn't want to go back." He smiled, and in that moment I felt something I'd only read about in books, a kind of love that doesn't fit into boxes or definitions, something so deep and real that it's beyond words. As time went on, I knew that being with Aaron was more than just a phase or an experience. It was the beginning of something profound and beautiful. He was my best friend, my partner, and the person who'd shown me that love could be limitless, fluid, and ultimately true. And as I looked into his eyes, I knew that my life had taken a turn I'd never anticipated. I'd been straight my whole life, until I met him, and I couldn't imagine it any other way.